Hello everybody and welcome to another draft analysis for the Adelaide Redraks. This time I'm joining the Dream Team League, the DTL, which is an interesting league because what it basically is 14 coaches split into two teams. Every coach drafts a team and then the two teams play each other each week. And everyone helps each other, like team build and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. It's a nice. It'll be good for a bit of a learning experience and stuff like that. But yeah, once again, this is a draft that I want to try new mons and learn new things, new styles of play and stuff. And that's why I have picked the team that I did. There were some things that I wanted to pick up that I didn't get to, but I mean, like, that always happens. But I'll explain that more as I get along in my draft. But yeah, first up, like, I wanted to go for a Regenerator team, for this draft. And that's why my first pick is Tornadus T. Yeah. Base HP of 79, attack 100, defense 80, special attack 110, special defense 90, and a nice speed of 121 with the Regenerator ability, as I said. It's got some nice moves in like agility, defog, knockoff, tailwind, taunt, U-turn. And it's got a lot of coverage moves and stuff like that as well, which makes it a really neat pick. And the ability to be a mixed attacker with the attack or the special attack there is I think it's a real nice, solid pickup. Normally you'd see this thing on like rain teams or something like that. But yeah, I'm going for the Regenerators. And I just nicknamed him Big Bird because he's a big bird. But yeah, so just like got some setup in the agility. I think it got like, just off the top of my head, like hone claws or something like that as well. Didn't have the most usable setup moves, but agility is always nice. And then being able to remove hazards with defog is sweet. Knockoff, just removing items is good. Tailwind, being able to buff your team speed. Taunt, stopping hazards and set up on the opponent's side, and then U-turn just for momentum is real nice. Now, my second pick is not a Regenerator, because like I had plans, but like I obviously there's not enough Regenerators in the game that I can fill every slot with a Regenerator. So yeah, my next pick was clefable. HP of 95, attack 70, defense 73, 95 special attack, 90 special defense, and 60 speed. Just another solid A tier pickup here. Reliable. Q-Charm, Magic Guard, Unaware. Q-Charm is not really something that I'll bring, I believe, most of the time. I can't think of a reason why I would really bring it. On the other hand, Magic Guard and Unaware are two really useful abilities. Magic Guard being able to come in and not take damage from things like Stealth Rocks, and then like getting toxic and stuff like that, doesn't take any damage from that. It's always nice. And then Unaware, being able to sit there in front of opponents' mons that are trying to set up and not taking any extra damage or anything like that is really nice as well. And it's got a lot of offensive coverage moves, but also a lot of supporting moves as well, like aromatherapy, calm. Calm Mind's good for setting up Encore, Heal Bell, Healing Wish, Moonlight, Soft Boiled, Stealth Rock. So a Stealth Rock setter as well, which is called Trick and Wish. So yeah, it can heal up itself, can heal up the team, can remove status effects from the team. Just a solid pick, I feel. But anyway, next pick was another Regenerator and another bulky mon in my tier 2 pick of Toxapex. 50 HP, like not the highest HP for a bulky mon, but its defense and special defense definitely make up for that. 63 attack and 53 special attack, so it's definitely not the most offensive. But then the 152 defense and 142 special defense, along with that Regenerator ability, is quite nice. So being able to take a hit and then get out and heal up without having to sit around and take more damage is like fantastic. Not very fast, not very offensive, but it can soak hits pretty well. The Merciless ability and the Limber ability, I mean, while they might be situationally useful, Regenerator is the reason why you take this mon 90% of the time. Some notable moves like Baneful Bunker, possibly get some poisons on things trying to attack it with that. But like Earthquake gets around that and stuff like that anyway, so, and it doesn't get affected by special moves or anything. It has to be a contact move, so situationally could be useful, but things like Haze, Knockoff, gets Liquidation now as well. The fact that it gets Knockoff and Liquidation are pretty neat, because before all it had for an offensive move really was Scold. And I mean, like, Scold is good because it can get the burn. But I mean, you got to take advantage of that extra 10 attack stat when you can, right? But also the Liquidation being able to drop your opponent's defense can mean that if like another wall tries to sit in front of Toxapex, it might be able to like make it rethink that. Pain Split, Recover, Toxic Spikes, some nice hazards setting up there, and some healing is always useful. Next up, I think I went for my Dragon type. Unfortunately, there's no Dragon type Regenerators, as far as I know, but yeah, I grabbed Carm. A nice attack, HP stat, a nice attack, a nice special attack stat, and decent defenses and speed. 125, 130, 90, 130, 90, 95. And I mean, I know that I've only got Roost here as a notable move, but this gets so many coverage moves, it's not even funny. This is a great mon to have as a Scarfer, as a Specs user, to put Z moves on. Anything like that is really awesome. Like, there is tons of coverage that Kyurem has, and I've been wanting to try Kyurem for a while, so I'm glad that I managed to fit it into this draft. And yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty good addition to the team. Next up, I went for another Regenerator in the Reuniclus. 110 HP, 65 attack, 75 defense, 125 special attack, 85 special defense, and 30 speed. So once again, not the fastest mon. Got a decent HP stat and relatively decent defenses and a really nice special attack. So, overcoat, magic guard, regenerator, all pretty useful moves. Overcoat not so much compared to the other two, but like if I come up against like let's say a Moongus or something like that, being able to use the overcoat there would be pretty nice. Even like a Smeagol or something like that, something that might want to try and put me to sleep. Notable moves: it's got Carmine, it's got knockoff, it's got pain split, trick, and then trick room. And like I've got a couple of slow mons, so trick room team is not necessarily out of the question either. So that's pretty cool. Up next, I had the Tangler. This was my tier 5 pick. I took this now because I was going to go for Mienshao as my next tier 3, but it got sniped by someone on my own team as well, which is unfortunate. But that's alright, because with this, I feel like I have a decent amount of regeneration ready, and I was planning on getting Ordino, Mega Ordino probably at some point as well. But when Mienshao got taken and I took Tangler, I had to come up with a new half of a plan, basically. And like definitely had some help working that out, but I feel like the team that I ended up with is probably better than what I was going to go for in the first place, so I am not too worried about that at all. With the 65 HP, 55 attack, 115 defense, 100 special attack, 40 special defense, and 60 speed, Tangler does not look that amazing on paper, but give it an Eevee it gets 230 defense, 80 special defense. With the 65 HP, that's pretty ridiculous. The special defense, like, is still not the best, but it's definitely going to be a decent addition to my team, and it's still surprisingly tanky. It like quite easily could be underestimated, that's for sure. Chlorophyll, Leaf Guard, Regenerator. Once again, Regenerator would be what you take this on this mon most of the time. I'm not running a Sun team, so neither of those other two abilities are that useful to me. But it gets knockoff, it gets recovery with Morning Sun and Pain Split, Sleep Powder, Stun Spore, Swords Dance, and then more recovery and Synthesis. Swords Dance on a Tangler could be an interesting thing to bring at some point. We'll see. It could work out. So, I mean, obviously its special attack stat is a lot higher than its attack stat. But you got to take what you think is going to work, right? Next up, I jump back into tier 3s and I pick up Cabal. 91 HP, 90 attack, 129 defense, 90 special attack, 72 special defense, and 108 speed. Decent speed tier, decent HP for the defense and special defense it has, and then like relatively decent attack and special attack, and the fact that it can be a mixed attacker as well, so your opponent's not going to know if you're going to be bringing physical or special, is real cool. And then it gets set up both on the special and physical side as well with Carmine and Swords Dance, and then it can set up the speed as well with Rock Polish. Gets priority with Quick Attack, has some nice supporting moves for your team like Roar to phase out the enemies that are trying to like set up themselves. Stealth Rocks to set up hazards is always nice, and then the Taunt and Thunder Wave, and then Volt Switch as well for some nice momentum, which which is pretty cool actually. Getting Volt Switch on a Steel Fighting type, I think, is pretty neat. Especially since it can be run like physically or specially. So next up, I grabbed Gligar as my T4, another Eviolite mon. Has slightly worse defense, but slightly better special defense, and better speed. Better attack, but worse special attack than the Tangler. But the fact that it is immune to electric type moves and immune to ground type moves makes Gligar real useful. And then the immunity to be able to dodge the toxics as well is really good. And then it can also be a speed passer because it gets agility and baton pass. It gets defog, it gets stealth rock, so it can get rid of hazards, it can set its own hazards up, knock off, quick attack, rock polish if you want to take that over agility, not that it makes much of a difference. Swords Dance to set up offensively, Tailwind to help your whole team speed up, Taunt to stop your opponent doing similar shenanigans, and then U-turn for some momentum as well. So Gligar definitely has some nice utility for my team, which will be very useful. And then I think this is my third to last pick. Something like that, I can't remember off the top of my head, but we've got Manectric, a decently speedy electric type. Got a little bit of a special attack on him, decent HP, and the defenses are not terrible to go with that HP stat, though it's nothing like amazing. But Static and Lightning Rod, being able to be immune to electric moves with the Lightning Rod is nice. Being able to potentially get the paralysis with the Static is nice. And then having like Quick Attack for priority, Volt Switch for momentum, Raw Switcheroo and Thunder Wave for just some utility moves as well, is a pretty cool pickup and a needed electric type for my team at this point. In this tier, there's not a ton of electric types. I was looking at like, I think Magneton as well, but I already had the Steel type, so there wasn't much point. But yeah, there was definitely a few different picks I could go as well. But anyway, and my second to last pick, my tier 5 free pick, I believe it was, is my Lunar. HP of 78, attack 70, 61 defense, 50 special attack, 61 special defense, and 100 speed. So pretty average all over. But it does get the Belly Drum Extreme Speed Gluttony combination. So Belly Drum, eat the Figgy Berry or something like that, I think it is, at when it goes down to 50% health because of the Gluttony ability. And then you've got Extreme Speed to take out anything faster than you. And then a bunch of coverage moves like Play Rough and Shadow Claw and stuff like that to take out anything slower than you. Which is a really, like, it's I feel like it can be quite underestimated sometimes, but it can also, like, it makes the opponent's team at least think about having to prep for it. And so even like Lunar, even though Lunar only really does the one thing really well, it's still a threat, and it still makes your opponent have to prepare for it. And like sometimes even if your opponent does prepare for it, it still can't deal, like, they still can't deal with it. So it's pretty cool. And there's also some utility moves that it can get, like the Raw Switcheroo, Thunder Wave, and Trick as well. So I mean, there is potential to bring it as like a supporting mon rather than a setup sweeper, but the setup sweeping is definitely what the Lunar is most known for. And then my final pick was my mega pick. I had lots of options at this point because I was the only one that hadn't picked my mega, and I still had enough free points left over to take any mega that was left over. And that's why I took Mega Pinsir. I didn't have a bug type yet, so it seemed like a good fit for my team. It was a physical attacker to give me some more physical threat because I didn't really have a lot of it at that point. When I first decided I was going to start going a different route, and I took the Cobalion and Lunar and this to make up for some physical threats that I was lacking on my team. But yeah, the 65 HP, 155 attack, like a real decent attack, 120 defense, 65 special attack, 90 special defense, and then 105 speed. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And the aerialate ability allowing it to get flying type quick attack and stuff like that can be something that is definitely forgotten about and can definitely put in work. And like it can get flying type returns, or I think it can get facade as well. So if it gets burnt or something like that, or if you're expecting it to get burnt or paralyzed or toxic or something, you could bring a facade and do even more damage. But it also gets stealth rocks and swords dance and knockoff as some other notable moves that you can run on it. But yeah, I think this is a good mega to round out my team. I've got decent speed tiers, I've got decent bulk, I have 4 Regenerator mons, of which I feel is going to put in a lot of work. Basically, I feel like with the Regenerators, I'm pretty solid defensively, and like my team's going to be hard to take down that way, and then I've got some nice offensive threats as well to make up for that as well. But yeah, that's the team that I managed to get my hands on for this league. I think first week up I'm versing Frost. So hopefully this team will be able to put in the work like I want it to, and we can come away with a W. But yeah, that's the Adelaide Redraks squad for the DTL. Thanks for watching, and I will see you for the battle videos over the next few weeks. Peace.